Hello everyone, this is Kona, and thank you for tuning in to another TF2 commentary. Now Valve finally released their update for this year, the major update, and I know the main focus about this update is really the competitive part, but the part that got me really excited was actually the second part of the announcement, which is Heavy versus Pyro. Now I mentioned a while back that these types of updates are my favorite types of updates, mainly because it's like, you know, we get two classes that are changed, which is really nice, but also when you have this sort of class versus class, like a war scenario, you get people picking sides, and you know, you create this sort of rivalry, this friendly rivalry, hopefully, inside the game, and I really like that. Now, I'll be honest, this actually kind of caught me off guard in terms of the classes being updated, because I thought a while back they were gonna do something like, what was it, Spy versus NG or something? I really thought that was gonna be like the next one, but I guess it never happened, or maybe they're gonna hold off until later on. And, you know, Heavy versus Pyro kind of came out of nowhere. And I actually like that these classes are gonna be updated, because when I think about competitive, these classes are really considered off classes, and perhaps they want to boost the utility of these classes so that maybe they'll be picked in real strats as real mains rather than just off classing on certain parts of the map. I'm really curious to see where the competitive side of things go now that these classes are getting updated. So starting with the Heavy, I'm really glad that the Heavy is gonna get an update. I feel, at least for me, that the Heavy is a really boring class to play. Beyond just, like, you know, walking out there and shooting things and maybe jumping around corners and stuff, there seems to be like a lack of variety in play style for the Heavy. If you look at the Soldier, right, the Soldier, it's very easy to get into the Soldier. I think all classes are pretty easy, maybe except for the Spy, but almost all classes are pretty easy to just get started. But something like the Soldier has a very high skill cap. There's a lot to learn, especially with things like rocket jumping. With Heavy, I don't know what else there is to really do besides jumping around corners or trying to be sneaky with the Tommy Slab or something. I feel like a lot of the guns are the same and there's no variety of playstyle. Now, what I thought they were going to do before was make subclasses, kind of like the Demo Man and Demo Knight, how those are two very distinct playstyles within the same class, and you can sort of mix and match the loadouts to blend the two. Now, maybe they could do something similar to the Heavy, where they give him an item or a set of items that make him play differently than just a regular Heavy, and that can be sort of mix and match with the already existing Heavy weapons to blend these play styles and just make Heavy interesting to play. I mean, maybe they could add something like a meter-based weapon to the Heavy. I'm not sure. I mean, he sort of already has the Sandwich, which is actually, it's more like cooldown based rather than meter based. You know, things like the Pyro's Flog. You have the backpacks for the Soldier, Ubers and stuff, metiguns. They have meters that you sort of build, and you want to build them up during the round and then use them. Maybe that's something that they could add, although I don't want this to get too much like people having ultis in this game, because that's one of the reasons like I don't like to play Overwatch, is because I just don't like the ultis in that game, at least the way that they're implemented. Okay, so now for the Pyro, and I have some mixed feelings about the Pyro, because while the Pyro is a really cool class, it's a very unique class, that's for sure. I hate getting killed by the Pyro. I don't know why, but every time I get killed by a Pyro, I get a little salty. just a little bit, because for some reason the class just makes me just like, why did I get killed by the Pyro? I don't understand. Like, if a Spy kills me, that's fine. He snuck up on me, he got me, whatever. But sometimes if I get killed by a Pyro and the Pyro's right in front of me, sometimes I don't understand why I died, and it's just a little frustrating at times. But anyway, the Pyro. Yes, this class probably needs some sort of buff, especially after the big Extinguisher nerf. I think that's one of the reasons why I stopped playing Pyro, was because they sort of got rid of the Puff and Sting. I think they sort of brought it back a little bit last year by, you know, making it so that the Extinguisher is not total crap. But it's still very, very hard to use, and yeah, it could use some variety in gameplay. Now, I know there's other things to master, like the Puff and Shoot, I don't know the names of these anymore, sorry, but the ones where you pop them up and you shoot them with the reserve shooter and stuff. There are combos like that, and that's really nice. I think Pyros can benefit from having combos rather than W plus M1, right? I mean, that's a way of playing, but I feel like W plus M1 is similar to the problem that the Heavy has, which is like basically W plus M1, right? So if they could build in combos like they did with the extinguisher, but not make it so annoying to get killed by like the extinguisher, like the original extinguisher, then maybe it'll make Pyro kind of like Soldier, where there's something to do besides the basics that people who invest a lot of time into this class can really master and can really show off. Now, an interesting thing about this whole heavy versus Pyro thing is that when I thought about it, I'm like, you know, if I go back to the first war of TF2, this was Soldier versus Demoman. It was a really good, quote, war. You know, it was a really good battle. I really enjoyed that one. And I felt like the classes were sort of on even playing grounds. Like, one didn't really counter the other because one always had something that could counter the other. And so they were sort of even. But when I look at Heavy versus Pyro, if I see a team of Pyros, I'm going Heavy. I feel like Heavy is a really good counter to Pyro. If I see a Heavy on the other team, I don't go Pyro to combat that, to counter that. I usually go off some other class like Spy, or I'll just go Soldier and just brute force, or Sniper or something. I usually try to counter Heavy with something else. So when you have this thing like Heavy versus Pyro in this war, maybe they'll give Pyro something that will counter the Heavy, because I think maybe Pyro needs it. If they want to make this sort of even. But again, if they want to keep with this sort of whole rock paper scissors thing in TF2, then I don't know if it should be any class can counter any class. I think the whole idea is to sort of make a team composition and pick classes that are designed to counter other things. So I don't know. Now, in terms of choosing a side, I'm gonna go with Team Heavy because I really don't like getting killed by Pyros. It's just really annoying for me for some reason. I don't know, I just get really salty. And, you know, honestly, all they have to do to make Heavy good is just rebuff the sandwich. Just make the sandwich like it was before, where you can heal yourself. Done. They'll probably never do that, but that's okay. Anyway, I'm curious as to what you guys think about the Heavy versus Pyro. Which side did you choose, and maybe what they can do to make these classes better? You know, or do you just like the classes the way they are? Let me know in the comments below. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.